Alright guys, I'm going to focus on gophers slightly less, because the thing about gophers is that the most important thing is about how to actually catch them. Their biology isn't as important. So we're going to fly through them slightly, kind of quickly. And you have traps on your desk. We don't have traps for everybody. We don't have a trap, even a trap type for everybody. They're not easy to set. And once you set them, you will be setting your hand inside a live trap. Okay? So I don't want anybody to try and set them until I teach them how. Okay? Alright, can we knock off the lights in front here somewhere?
There'll be no broken fingers today.
Oh, I've had some massive
Alright,
traps
so
in my
gophers.
house. My husband used to be a
Okay,
trapper.
so why do we manage gophers? We manage gophers because they cause damage to very expensive things like crops, farm machinery. They're a hazard to people that walk around in general. You know, you can put your foot in one and trip over. I promise I tell you what the difference between a gopher and a mole burrow is. I'm finally getting to this. You kind of have to use your imagination. This is a gopher burrow, okay, gopher mound. They are generally crescent shaped, okay, generally. Whereas mole burrows are generally round, okay. So very, very easy to tell the difference between them if you know what you're looking for. Now it's really hard to see on these screens, but there's actually a thing called a soil plug, okay, and it's right there on the gopher mound. It's just a small, small circle. Sometimes it can be higher in the soil profile, sometimes it can drop down a little bit, okay? Mole burrows or mole mounds do not have soil plugs, okay? The other thing is the texture of the soil. Very, very chunky soil, generally a mole mound, okay? Fairly fine, gopher, okay? That's the difference. You can kind of see, I think, from these pictures that it looks, you know, the soil looks very fine on this side here, okay, and it looks kind of more rough and chunky here, okay, and it's all to do with the way they burrow, where they move the soil, okay. So I will go through my yard, what are my options, and as master gardeners, these are the questions that you have to ask, okay, and I believe that was what the Ask the Master Gardener question was, okay. Don't pour gunpowder down there. Terry Salmon was the county director of San Diego, right, for UC San Diego. He used to do this thing called the Rodinator, right, where you'd like pump gas into the rodent burrows and then you'd light it on fire and the whole thing would go. Okay, you guys can't do that, but I'm sure it's fun. Okay, as master gardeners, here are your options. Okay, these are the options you're going to be given to the public. You can hire a PMP, okay, pest management professional, okay? Don't let your pest management professional tell you that trapping doesn't work. Trapping is actually a very effective tool for gopher control, okay? Now, it takes a lot more time, but you can actually be 100% effective with trapping, okay? 100%. Now, there's other tools out there like zinc phosphide and aluminum phosphide, and they're very, very good as well. Very, very good. Strychnine, also excellent material. These are all really good materials. Some of those you can use, some of them your pest management professional can only use, okay? Do it yourself. Repellents, trapping, toxicants, and fumigation. Okay, repellents. I think I have something. I have all sorts in here. I've actually got a gun for moles in here.
What?
I think I used to have one, but I can't find it. Anyway, there's these things that you stick into the ground, and they're supposed to repel moles and gophers and I don't know what else. Most repellents don't work, okay? Not only is the jury out, the jury pretty much says they're terrible, okay? If you're seeing an effect from a repellent, it's probably because you've got a neophobic animal and it's afraid of the scent or the look of it. It's not because it's sending sonar space rays at them, okay? It doesn't work like that, okay? You can still try them, and most of them some of them have been tested, but most of them are not great. Trapping, very time consuming, but as a homeowner, it's probably one of your best DIY option. It's obviously non-toxic, and it's very, very economical. Now these are your traps, okay? There's so many of them. These are the two that we're going to play with today. Okay? The silver one that you guys have, that's called a Gophinator. Okay? Alright? And it's kind of new. I believe it's on the market about 8 or 9 years, not very old. This guy, the Macabee, the green one that you guys have on your desk, that's been around for about 100 years. Okay? So if it's around for 100 years, it's probably a good trap. Okay? It's probably a decent product. If something's not good, it's not going to last 100 years. These ones here, which tend to be the black hole and the black box, they tend to be very popular among homeowners. And if you're worried about setting traps, then you should probably use something like this because, well, it's probably not impossible to set your finger in it, but it's much easier than the traps I'm going to show you. And not as effective, but you're not going to, take your finger away with it. And this is the cinch trap here, okay? Also around for 100 years. I do believe that someone in here has a cinch trap and uses it. Yeah, someone said I have one of those. No, this is a cinch trap.
I had one, but I couldn't get it to work.
Okay, it's like a puzzle too. They're good if you're worried about turf damage. And then this is the new kid on the block. Have you seen this? Have you guys seen this? No. It's called a gopher hawk. And it's like a gopher guillotine. Oh, I broke that one. Where's the other? This is like my gopher box of decks. So anyway, so these things are, right, you stick them in the ground, the gopher runs in, poof, okay, dead gopher. Okay, I don't know how effective they are, and I'll probably tell you in a minute why I don't think they're effective.
You have to clean it.
What do you want?
Clean it every time you use it.
The gopher doesn't explode. It just gets like trapped in here. Now the gopher's dead, but there's guts and everything doesn't come out.
Oh.
Yeah. So. Where to purchase your equipment? Okay, most hardware stores will have all these things. Okay, these guys are really hard to get a hold of. The only place I know where to get them is a pesticide distribution company called AgriTurf. Okay, and I don't know if they're going to sell to you, but they're kind of interesting anyway. Trapline products, wildlife controlled supplies, Gophers Limited. Okay, that's where you will get that's where you get your Gophinator. You will not be able to buy your Gophinator trap in stores. Okay, and you're going to want the Gophinator. Okay, the Gophinator is like the trap. I'm going to go through the signs of trapping really quickly because we're running out of time. The Macabee versus the Gophinator, right? We're picking these two. The Macabee's been around for hundreds of years. It must be a good trap, right? Okay, so we're going to test the new kid on the block, see what happens. So the actual gopher expert in California is a guy called Dr. Roger Baldwin, and he's based up in UC Davis, and he's a vertebrate pest specialist. And his thing is very much gophers. And what he did was he looked at these two traps and he tried to see how many animals these traps captured and what size the animals were. And you can see here, the Macabee's the dotted line, the Gophinator's the solid line, so the solid line's on top caught way more gophers, but it caught significantly more gophers of the kind of the fatter range. Why is it important to catch fat gophers? They make the babies, okay? Not only are they pregnant, they're the males that are making the females pregnant, okay? Same in the spring and the autumn, okay? The Gophinator is a really powerful trap. The reason they think that it catches bigger gophers is the mechanism, it's to do with the mechanism of how it goes off, okay? Now I'm going to show you a video, but I'm also going to bring it to you in interpretive dance. Basically what happens, right, is that when the Macabee closes, right, it closes like this, okay? And as it closes, this space here goes narrower, and what happens is it pushes the gopher out. The Gophinator has one fixed arm, okay? So similar style, the jaws are still open, but what happens is that this arm swings over to this arm, okay? And so the gophers don't push out, okay? Now, this is about as slow motion as I could get, but it's still hard to see. But what you need to look for is for the Macabee, you'll actually see it jump, okay? Which is what's going to happen when it's in the burrow too. And for the Gophinator, you'll see it swing to the side, okay? So pay attention. There's no sound. Well, there's limited sound. Okay, do you see the way it hopped up there?
Yeah.
My desk at work has just got so many dings in it from all these random traps I set off. Okay, see the way, do you see that? And it swings to the side. Okay, does anybody here trap gophers? Yes, loads of people, wow. Anybody cover their trap set once they're finished? Like just cover over the hole? Yeah, you're wasting your time. Okay, it's actually, the research shows that it's actually better to leave your sets open and go and set more, like spend the time setting more traps. Okay, people would say, oh, gophers like closed systems. They don't think that's true. They think that they'll come along and they'll actually open up or close over the tunnel as well. So it's just a time saver. Okay. So anybody put any attractants or baits? You're really wasting your time down there.
Banana peels.
Okay, so banana peels do not work. Neither do anise oil, carrot oil, grapefruit, peanut butter. It's the same whether you use an attractant or not. Okay, so you don't actually have to use a bait. It's actually more to do with how you set your trap than what you set in it. Okay. Trained versus untrained. Just say you've got tons of gophers in your yard and you've never trapped gophers before, but after this wonderful class you're like, oh, I can do that, no problem. I've learned how to set traps, I know how to not waste my time, and you go out and you don't really have that much success. But practice does make perfect. So this is actually in a professional setting, but it does ring true for the homeowner as well. When you go out, you start trapping, okay? Who hasn't trapped gophers? Okay, so just say you come out with me and I've trapped hundreds of gophers. Okay, and on day one I'll catch this many gophers, but you'll catch 50% as many as I will. But by day 3, you've actually caught almost 95% as much as I have. Okay, so practice actually does make perfect. Now I'm not just talking about 1 or 2 traps a day, I'm talking about a significant number of traps in that day. But it just goes to show that you will get better. So the longer you try at it, probably the more successful you become. Okay? Gloves versus no gloves. Anybody wear gloves when they trap gophers? Yeah? It's a good idea if you're worried about the trap taking off your fingers. It'll help a limited amount, especially if you use something like the Gophinator or the Macabee. Some of them have points. But human scent has no effect on the success of your capture. Okay? None. So you don't need to cover it over. You don't need to use a bait. And you don't need to use gloves unless you want to. Okay, I actually like to set with no gloves, just because I like to stick my hand in there and make sure it feels like it's a good set. And I feel like without the glove, it's hard to do that. We also tried to make the Macabee a slightly better trap. So we tried to stop the gopher being pushed out. And we succeeded in making the Macabee better, but we didn't succeed in making the Macabee as good as the Gophinator. Okay? So there's different types of traps, or I call them different types of traps. You kind of have ones that are like in the ground traps and ones that are above the ground traps. So if you've got really nice turf and your gopher's messing it up, well, you really don't want it there, but you don't want to go in and start digging it all up either. We have options. These traps are probably more effective, the Gophinator, the Macabee, the black hole, the black box. And then you've got the ones that damage the turf the less, so like the gopher hawk and then this cinch trap. Because the cinch trap is this one. Okay, this is the cinch trap, and it's like a puzzle. It's got all these bits hanging off it, and these. If anyone's interested, I can show you how to set it. But basically, what you do is you stick this bit in the ground, and this bit stays above the ground. Okay, we're really running out of time. So how do I trap? You, surprise, surprise, need traps. Okay, you should have a probe. This is what I use. Big long screwdriver. It doesn't matter if it's flathead or Phillips. Either one will work. Okay. Gloves are a good idea if you're worried about your hands, and then you won't get any dirt under your nails as well. You need wire. So most of you will notice that your traps have some sort of wire at the end of it. That's because, especially as novice trappers, you're not going to kill the gopher straight away. Now it'll die pretty quickly, but it will have a chance to scurry up the tunnel and take a trap with you. Some of these are $10, okay? You need a wire on the end of it so you can stake your trap down. It's important to stake it down, but it's also important to identify the hole. Okay, maybe you have a stupid spouse. Okay, maybe you have children. You know, you just don't want people falling in the hole, okay? So make sure you put a flag in there. I always use knee pads, always, because it's really tough trapping gophers. It really is really hard on your knees. I don't generally trap 1 or 2 gophers, I generally trap hundreds. So I'm not sure, but you guys are used to gardening as well, so maybe you have like something to protect your knees anyway. So I would definitely use them. We don't have obviously active gopher mounds here. But what you would do is you'd find your active gopher mound, you would take your probe and you would start probing, okay? And what's going to happen is that you're eventually going to hit the tunnel and you're going to drop. Okay, that's how you know you've found your tunnel. What I like to do is I actually like to leave my probe in there. You need to get yourself a good hori-hori, which is one of these. I think this is from Gophers Limited. Okay, make sure if you're not a lefty that you get a righty one, because mine came out lefty for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I think the mold was backwards on this batch. It was important, especially here you have all the DG and your soil is super rough, that you have a good blade and a good handle that's not going to snap off. So you dig in till you find your tunnel, and then when you expose your tunnel generally is going to go 2 directions. Okay, you're probably going to have your tunnel going that way and your tunnel going that way. Okay, that means you need 2 traps. What you need to do is you need to get your hand in there and check and see that your tunnel is straight. Okay, what I like to do, it's kind of hard to show this. What I like to do is I like to stick my hori-hori knife in the hole. Don't let go of your blade. These are way more expensive than $10. Stick it in the hole. If it goes up to about here, so where the handle starts to disappear, that's probably a significant amount of space to set your trap. Okay. The other thing is that you want to make sure that it doesn't divert, doesn't turn a corner, doesn't split into 2. If it splits into 2, you need to dig back. Okay, you need to dig back and you need to expose those 2 as well. So now you need 3 traps. Okay, you need to keep doing that. Most of the time, you probably won't get more than 3. But I've been in like Gopher Town where I've had 5. Okay, because I want a good trap set. I want that nice straight line. Some of them just go all the way around like this. Sometimes you follow them around and they just dead end. That can happen too. The reason you need to set the traps in all the tunnels is because you don't know where your gopher's coming from. Okay, generally 1 gopher per system, so once you get the gopher in that tunnel, that's it. Okay, unless the gopher invades from somewhere else. Because they're territorial, they usually just have 1 gopher per tunnel. Okay, but you don't really know where it's going to come from, so you need to make sure that you get it. Okay, like I said, examine for size, turns, and divides. If your tunnel is not big enough for your trap, you need to make it big enough for your trap, and that's where your hori-hori comes in. Just these are my details here. Email address, that's definitely the best way to reach me. Phone number, you're more than welcome to call and leave a message as well. And then I have a work group that's called the Southern California Urban Wildlife Management Council, and my committee likes to jokingly call it the Scum Council. But I have a Twitter account, and I generally tweet every day about human-wildlife conflict in the United States. I try to keep it local to California, but it's difficult. But it ranges from rats to coyotes to skunks to, you name it, Honda, chewing rats. I'll tweet about everything. Okay? So feel free to follow us there too. And now we're going to set traps. And we don't have a whole lot of time. I'm sorry. But please do not. I have to borrow yours. Sorry. Please do not put your hand. Please do not try and jump ahead of the directions. Scott's going to help. Yeah? You're going to help? You can help? Yeah. Okay, you can help. Okay. You can stay down there. I'll go this way and you come up this way, just so we cover everybody. Yeah. Okay, so for every drop of blood that's spilt, my county director takes 2 weeks off my visa. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to go with the Macabee first, and I actually think the Macabee is the easiest to set. Okay, so that's the green one. Okay, we're going to go over the parts. Okay, guys, listen. We don't have a lot of time, okay? These are the jaws. Okay, can everybody see? These are the jaws. Okay, this is the pin. Okay? This is your treadle pan. Okay? Right, what we need to do is we're going to push the jaws down, and if you notice on your pin, there's a little nub right at the front. And what we need to do is we're actually going to try and catch the jaws under that pin. Okay? Now once the jaws are under that pin, your trap is set. Okay? So be careful. Okay? So what you need to do is trap in one hand. Okay? You need to make sure your pin is in the middle. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to push down. I like to push at the front and then to move the jaws out. If you're strong enough, you can push from the side. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to go, I think it's probably easier to go table by table really quickly. Okay? So what you do is, pin in the middle. Your pin has to be up. Guys, your pin has to be up like this. Otherwise, you're not going to capture your jaws underneath it. Okay? So pin in the middle, push down like this. Okay?